You know, in a long-lost and far better age, men had the right, even more importantly so, the expectation that they would defend their lives, their property, and their monies from thieves. However, today we have crafted for ourselves a system of government that is indistinguishable from highway robbery in all aspects but one. Namely, that after the highwayman has finished taking all of your shit away, he at least did not rub your face in it when he wasted it all. In this respect, the average Norse marauder was infinitely preferable to the United Kingdom government, as the British taxpayer funds a Kenyan sex bot to the tune of £41 million. What can you do but laugh? The only other alternative, surely, is to cry. And hey, at least for once, it's not my money being wasted, although I am certain the Norwegian government have equally, if not even more ridiculous wastes of governmenting funding. After all, my nation paid for Dustborn. I can't really talk. But this pleasure-oriented app launched as a part of a £41 million scheme that did little to improve the sexual health academics found. You don't say. An ineffective government program. Oh, me oh my. A pleasure-oriented sex chatbot for Kenyan teenagers was developed using aid money from British taxpayers. The Telegraph can disclose. Now, it is immediately tempting to ask why, but we know why. There is literally only one sole singular explanation as to why: rampant corruption. This is obviously a governmental slush fund. I mean, come on. The only other explanation is that there genuinely is out there somewhere a UK bureaucrat that thinks to himself, yes, a sex bot for Kenyan teenagers. That is an adequate usage for £41 million. Obviously, this is not the case. The app was built as a part of a £41 million UK aid program, which aims to invest in radical technological solutions to issues in the developing world. And that, too, is a truly brilliant idea, isn't it? Okay, so here we are. What's the problem? Well, you see, these people down in the bush, they simply just refuse to wear a condom during sex, despite existing in one of the largest HIV-infested areas on the planet. They just won't do it. The technological applications of a piece of latex that separates your penis from the woman's infected vagina, or other way around, is too complex, too advanced, too space age for the local populace. And so, we will introduce a chatbot. Brilliant. How could this possibly go wrong? How could this fail somehow to be effective? The Nene chatbot was described as a pleasure-oriented digital companion for young people exploring sexual health, and aimed between the age of 18 and 24, but an academic study suggested it had done little to improve sexual health. You don't say. You don't fucking say. And this wasn't even the worst of it. Other projects that received taxpayer funding included Pay As You Chill, cold storage in Zambia, and smart contraceptive vending machines in Nairobi. You can get it. As the vending machine deposits condoms, pads, and peanuts. Like I said, this is simply just corruption. There cannot be any other explanation. And I do love this. MPs asked why taxpayer money was being wasted on such schemes and called for a review of foreign aid spending. Oh wow, the rats are quabbling amongst each other. Listen. This isn't even the only ways. His last in a series of revelation with the Telegraph about spending, including £52 million road to nowhere through the Amazon rainforest, and a push to stop ocean plastic pollution in landlocked African countries. Right. Listen, I'm not suggesting anything here. All I'm saying is that if the politicians are asking other politicians as to why they're wasting tens of millions of pounds and nothing is happening, it is simply just a circle jerk of, why did you waste that much money? I don't know. Why did you waste that much money? There are solutions to spendthrift politicians. The French discovered them in the 1700s, and by God, if the French can figure it out, surely the rest of us got a decent shot at it too, right? I'm just saying, okay? By the time when the video game Atom 4, depicting a savage Britain overran by murderous tribes of feral British Cockney people wielding axes against one another as you dodge nuclear radiation and wandering robots, when that scene starts to look far more appealing than the current day situation, it really is time to start considering some radical solutions to old school problems, as indeed the £52 million road to nowhere in the Amazons. God help me. Aid allocations have not been strategic enough, and far too much money has been funneled into inappropriate projects without scrutiny or conditionality. The fact that there exists such a thing as a program without scrutiny, well, again, if we were for a nanosecond to assume the impossible, that this isn't simply just a governmental slush fund, then this appears to be a poorly designed system. This does not appear fit for service. And surely, like, this is the government we're talking about here. Just think about all of the checks and balances you have to go through to collect a passport, to update your driver's license, to change your address, and then ask yourself, why doesn't the government have any of this on where millions of my taxpayer money goes to? And it's not just the UK, it's America, Germany, France, Spain, Italy. Literally every single country has this nonsense. The developers discovered that there was an interest among Kenyan youth to access information on sexual pleasure topics, including a strong interest in information on how to give and receive sexual pleasure. Translation. The academic study revealed that Kenyan teenagers were searching for porn on the internet. They then asked themselves, how could we possibly get Britain to pay for this? And somehow they came up with a solution to that fucking question. However, of the 1,119 referrals sent to a local sex health clinic through the app, not a single one led to further action. A study found that there was no evidence of increased use of contraception as a result of the chatbot. Despite the issues, officials said the pilot was promising and they would look at further funding. You don't understand. You think you hate your politicians enough. You think you hate taxes enough. You don't. I'm going to start myself there before I say something that gets me taken off YouTube. Foreign aid needs slashing. Lee Anderson, reform MP for Asheville, said it was more proof that foreign aid needs slashing. I remember a time when money sent abroad was meant to help irrigation and farm the land in poorer countries, he said. British taxpayers' money should not be being wasted on these ridiculous schemes. Whoever dreamt of this idea needs sacking. Here's the thing. You're incorrect, sir. Foreign aid doesn't need slashing. UK aid doesn't need to be used on irrigation or figuring out how to teach the other nationalities how to put seeds in the ground and make them grow. This is all useless. We've proven it to be worthless by now. Very thoroughly. We've spent decades proving the fact. There is no purpose, no point in slashing spending to foreign nations. And this goes for England, the US, France, Germany, all of them, all of the Western nations. We do not need a decimation. We need an active, directed, original mass extermination movement on federal foreign funding on every single level. We don't need a 15% fall, or 12%, or a 30% cut. We need zero across the board. The Western world in its entirety needs to simply abolish the concept of foreign funding. And I don't even care, because our counter-argument is then twofold. One, a lot of are going to die. Yes, proceed. And two, more convincingly, but then China will move in and seize power via their economic interest, the soft power of nations and aid programs. And this is even the argument I myself have made in the past, because it is a good argument. You do not necessarily wish to cede the third world to China because of all of its natural resources. I have a counter-argument to this. One, let China pour trillions of dollars into Africa, achieving next to nothing, and then let us throw up a blockade around India. Problem solved. Alternatively, and this is the only way in which the West should pour any more funding into the third world, and it is an idea we've already had, one that provided tremendous benefits to the locals and relatively minute ones to Europe, but significantly more than we're getting today, and it's simply called colonialism. It has been very unfairly maligned, as it turns out to have given far more in the way of tangible benefits to the local populace, and even gave us here in the West at least a method of going, listen, you don't have to move to Europe. You don't have to live in London, you don't have to live in Paris or Oslo or Berlin. You can live right where you are, and we are going to build you a London. We are going to construct for you Pretoria. So please, stay over there, and we'll fix your continent for you. And we'll even use some of those natural resources you haven't figured out how to get out of the ground yet. But to return to the question of funding, I just want to point out one last thing as well. It is stuff like this, on top of everything else. This is just an insult. It's all it is. It is injury. It is insult to injury. You've already wounded the taxpayer by taking half of his money away. This is the salt in the wound that is leading to rather fascinating movements in certain parts of Europe, like this intriguing little finding. Breaking, roughly 30% of Italians are open or indifferent to a return to fascism. Per La Repubblica poll. Listen, you do not actually want me ne frego, okay? Nobody actually wants me ne frego, as much as we meme it. But peanuts, pads, and condoms in Kenya, Nairobi, paid for by the British taxpayer, is how you get "we don't care" in England. How you get it across the Western world. And hey, every day that passes, every governmental program granted, makes the argument look just a little bit more palatable, doesn't it? Until next time, I have been Arch. Thank you very much for listening. I hope to see you all again soon. Till then, have a good day.